for you must come. Let's discover the mysterious truth and secrets of the Unknown News channel.
Are you ready to explore the darkest corners of our world? Places where the line between the living and the dead blurs, where the unknown lurks in the shadows waiting to strike? I know I am. Tonight, we'll uncover true stories that have left even the bravest souls trembling. Stories whispered around campfires and passed down through generations, each telling tinged with a little more terror, a little more dread. These tales aren't just legends, they're real, and they've haunted those who dare to encounter them. Brace yourself as we delve into the horrifying and mysterious events that defy explanation. What you're about to hear is not for the faint of heart. The Amityville Horror. The name alone conjures images of a suburban nightmare, a place where evil took root and refused to let go. But the true story, the one whispered in hushed tones by those who lived it and those who investigated it, goes far beyond the headlines. We've all heard the stories of the Lutz family, their brief and terrifying encounter with the demonic forces within 112 Ocean Avenue. But what happened after the Lutz family fled? Did the evil that drove them out simply vanish, or did it linger, waiting for the next unsuspecting victims? Over the years, a string of families have called 112 Ocean Avenue home. Some stayed only a few nights, driven away by unexplained noises, icy drafts, and a feeling of being watched. Others stayed longer, trying to convince themselves that the stories were just that, stories, but whispers persisted. Whispers of objects moving on their own, of disembodied voices echoing through the halls, of shadowy figures glimpsed at the edge of vision. Each new resident added their own chapter to the house's dark history. Each experience a chilling reminder that some places never truly let go of their past. And then there are the exorcisms. Multiple attempts have been made to cleanse the house of its demons, to break the hold of the darkness that permeates its walls. Priests, psychics, paranormal investigators all have stepped within, hoping to confront and banish the evil within. But the darkness seems to resist, clinging to the house like a stain that can never be fully erased. Could the evil that once resided at 112 Ocean Avenue still be waiting, trapped within those walls, waiting for the right moment, the right opportunity to unleash itself once more? The thought is unsettling, a chilling reminder that some doors are best left unopened, some mysteries better left unsolved. Annabelle. The mere mention of her name sends shivers down the spines of even the most hardened skeptics. But behind the Hollywood horror and sensationalized stories lies a truth far more unsettling, a darkness that extends far beyond the glassy eyes of a child's toy. Our journey into Annabelle's dark heart begins not in a haunted museum, but in the workshop of a skilled dollmaker. Who was this artisan, and what inspired them to create such a lifelike and ultimately cursed object? Was it a simple act of craftsmanship, or did something more sinister guide their hand? From the moment Annabelle's button eyes first opened, she seemed to possess an unnatural aura, a strange magnetism that drew people in. But this fascination soon turned to fear, as those who crossed her path began to experience a series of disturbing events. Objects moved on their own, disembodied voices whispered their names, and shadowy figures darted at the edge of their vision. Even after being locked away in Ed and Lorraine Warren's occult museum, encased in a glass box and blessed by countless priests, Annabelle's reign of terror continued. Visitors claimed to be scratched, pushed, or even possessed by the doll's malevolent spirit. Is it the spirit of a vengeful child trapped within the porcelain shell, or something far older, far more sinister at play? Some whisper that Annabelle is a conduit, a vessel for a dark entity seeking to enter our world, an entity that feeds off fear and despair, that delights in tormenting those who dare to cross its path. The truth, as always, remains shrouded in mystery. The Cecil Hotel. A towering monolith in the heart of Los Angeles, its imposing facade hides a history steeped in darkness, a place where tragedy and mystery have become inextricably intertwined. Elisa Lam's tragic death, captured on the hotel's security cameras, shocked the world. Her erratic behavior, the chilling elevator footage, and the mystery surrounding her final moments captivated the public's imagination. But Elisa's story is just one chapter in the Cecil's long and troubled history. Over the decades, the hotel has been plagued by a series of unexplained deaths, suicides, and disappearances. Some met their end falling from its towering heights, their screams lost in the urban jungle below. Others were found lifeless in their rooms, their deaths shrouded in mystery. Were these simply cases of misfortune, of troubled souls finding their final resting place within the Cecil's walls? Or is there something more sinister at play? Something that draws the lost and the desperate to the hotel only to claim their lives in the end? As we delve deeper into the Cecil's past, we uncover a pattern of eerie coincidences, of lives intertwined by fate and tragedy. Serial killers like Richard Ramirez and Jack Unterweger found refuge within the hotel's anonymity, their crimes casting a long shadow over its already dark reputation. Could the Cecil Hotel itself be cursed, its very foundation built upon a bedrock of suffering and despair? Or is it something more than that? A vortex, perhaps, where the veil between our world and the next wears thin, allowing malevolent forces to seep through. Chapter 4, The Bell Witch, A Curse Through Time. Deep in the heart of Adams, Tennessee, lies a legend so terrifying, so deeply rooted in American folklore, that it continues to haunt the region to this day. The Bell Witch. More than just a ghost story, the Bell Witch haunting is a tale of generational terror, a curse that seems to transcend time itself. The story of John Bell and his family's torment at the hands of the unseen entity known as the Bell Witch is well documented. But what happened after the witch allegedly took John Bell's life? Did the curse die with him, or did it linger, a malevolent spectre haunting the Bell family line for generations to come? Over the years, whispers and rumors have persisted. Tales of strange illnesses, accidents, and untimely deaths plaguing the descendants of the Bell family. Some dismissed these as mere coincidence, but others believe they are proof that the witch's curse is real, a dark legacy passed down through the bloodline. We traveled to Adams, seeking out those who still live in the shadow of the Bell Witch legend. We spoke to local historians, paranormal investigators, and most importantly, to the descendants of the Bell family themselves. Their stories, often told with a mix of fear and resignation, paint a chilling picture of a curse that refuses to be silenced. Some family members describe a sense of dread that follows them wherever they go, a feeling that they are constantly being watched, judged. Others tell of vivid nightmares, of being visited by a shadowy figure that bears a striking resemblance to the witch described by their ancestors. Is the Bell Witch's curse real, a tangible force that continues to torment the living, or is it something more insidious? A seed of fear planted in the minds of the Bell family, passed down through generations, a self-fulfilling prophecy of dread and despair. Chapter 5, The Enfield Poltergeist. Beyond the headlines, the Enfield Poltergeist case. It's a story that has captivated the world for decades, dividing skeptics and believers alike. Was it a hoax perpetrated by two young girls, a cry for attention in a troubled household? Or did something truly paranormal terrorize a family in that unassuming London home? The events at 284 Green Street have been investigated, analysed and debated ad nauseum. But beyond the sensationalised headlines and the grainy photographs lies a truth that is far more complex, far more unsettling. New evidence has come to light, evidence that casts doubt on the skeptics' claims and suggests that the Enfield Poltergeist was far more than just a childish prank. We've pored over hours of audio recordings, analysing the voices that claim to be speaking through young Janet Hodgson, the voices of old men, of angry spirits, of entities claiming to be trapped between worlds. Experts have analysed these recordings and their findings are chilling. The voices defy explanation, their tones and inflections impossible for a child to fake. Photographs taken inside the Hodgson home tell a similar story. Objects levitating, furniture overturning, Janet herself seemingly suspended in mid-air. While some dismiss these photos as fakes, others argue that the technology to manipulate images in such a way simply didn't exist at the time. We've spoken to the police officers who responded to the Hodgson's calls for help, officers who entered the house as skeptics and left convinced that something truly unexplainable had occurred within those walls. Their testimonies are powerful, their words carrying the weight of experience of having looked into the face of the unknown and emerged forever changed. The Enfield Poltergeist case is far from closed. It's a puzzle with missing pieces, a mystery that continues to challenge our understanding of the paranormal. Chapter 6. The Lavang House whispers from the asylum. In the heart of Vietnam stands the Lavang House, a crumbling edifice with a past shrouded in sorrow and whispers of the unspeakable. Once a sanctuary for those suffering from mental illness, the Lavang House has become synonymous with horror, its decaying walls echoing with the tormented cries of those who suffered within. The stories told about the Lavang House are not for the faint of heart. They speak of shadowy figures gliding through the corridors, of disembodied screams echoing through the night, of cold spots that cling to visitors long after they've left the building. But what is the truth behind the legend? And what has become of those who dared to spend a night within its walls? We tracked down and spoke to those who have dared to cross the threshold of the Lavang House in recent years. Their stories, often told with a tremor in their voice and a haunted look in their eyes, paint a chilling picture of a place where the veil between our world and the next has worn dangerously thin. Some describe encountering the apparitions of former patients, their bodies twisted in agony, their eyes filled with a profound sadness. Others tell of being touched, scratched, or even attacked by unseen hands. The psychological toll on these individuals is undeniable, their experiences leaving them shaken, scarred by their encounter with the unknown. We delved into the history of the Lavang House, uncovering records of patient mistreatment, of experimental procedures, and of unexplained deaths within its walls. Is it the residual energy of these tormented souls that haunts the building? Or is there something more malevolent at play, something that feeds off the suffering and despair that permeates the very foundation of the Lavang House? Chapter 7. The Cursed Well, India's Unquenchable Thirst. In the rural villages of India, where ancient traditions intertwine with the realities of modern life, there lies a well shrouded in dread and whispered about only in hushed tones. This is no ordinary well, for it is said to be cursed, its depths home to a vengeful spirit whose thirst for revenge knows no bounds. The story goes that a young woman wronged by a powerful man took her own life within the well's depths. Her dying screams a curse upon the village and all who dared to draw water from its depths. Since then, the well has been a source of both life-giving water and unspeakable terror. We traveled to the village where the well resides, seeking answers to the mystery that has haunted its inhabitants for generations. The villagers we spoke to, their faces etched with fear and resignation, told stories of illness, misfortune, and untimely death befalling those who dared to defy the curse. Farmers spoke of their crops withering and dying, their livestock falling ill and perishing. Mothers whispered of children born with strange ailments, their cries echoing the despair of the vengeful spirit trapped within the well. We interviewed those who claimed to have seen the spirit with their own eyes, their descriptions chillingly similar. A young woman, her long black hair swirling around her face, her eyes burning with an unearthly light, her voice a mournful wail that sent shivers down their spines. Over the years, numerous attempts have been made to appease the spirit, to break the curse that has gripped the village for generations. Priests have performed elaborate rituals, offerings have been made, and the well itself has been sealed and resealed, but the spirit's grip on the village remains unbroken. Is the curse real, a tangible manifestation of the wronged woman's rage? Or is it something more insidious? Has the fear itself, passed down through generations, become the real curse, poisoning the hearts and minds of the villagers, perpetuating the cycle of dread and despair? And so, our journey into the darkest corners of our world comes to an end. For now, if you found these stories as chilling as we did, don't forget to subscribe for more tales of the unknown. Share your thoughts in the comments. What would you do if faced with the horrors we've explored tonight? Would you run from the shadows, or would you seek out the truth? No matter how terrifying it may be, stay tuned for more, and remember, the truth is often stranger than fiction, and much more terrifying. Search the news. The stories are out there waiting to be discovered.